Failure. 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 It could be worse.
What's up, everybody?
Totally.
What's up? No, hello, everyone, and welcome to Failure with me, Kenya Alan, recorded here at the Lincoln Lodge. Losers today, because that's what I'm calling you now. Losers today, we've got... we've got Jaxx.
Yeah, Jackson.
Masada.
Yeah.
I was like so much confusion. I was like really coming in, like I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Hey, first 10 seconds, cut the episode. No.
Fuck you, losers. See you later.
No, Jackson, model, tattoo artist, nightlife curator.
Yeah.
Just a very fashionable lady.
Thank you.
Truly. I went to go grab
say.
you from outside, and it was just like literally everyone else looks like a piece of shit on the street, and then it's just Jax just like smoking a cigarette, like headphones in. I'm like, hey lady, hey. I was like, man, let me go walk over.
I was in my vibe.
Meanwhile, I've got these jeans on that like did not fit me all summer. Now they kind of do, but they're doing that thing where they're just like pushing all the bits, like everything's pushed up.
Yeah, it's like the world's lowest push-up bra.
Yes,
yeah, totally.
Exactly. So now it's just I've got like 4 sets of tits. That's 2 sets
awesome.
actually. Boop and boop.
That's great for the dating game. That's
no,
great.
yeah,
Put that
yeah,
on the Tinder profile.
Anything you can sort of like mush
4 boobs.
together. Yeah.
Winner.
Yeah. Yeah. If anyone's looking to just like drag their genitals along my belly, let me know.
And that's love.
Yeah, and that's love. That's love. But no, Jackson, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
For sure. No, totally. I'm excited to have you.
Yeah.
We've been through some times.
Yeah.
We've been through highs and lows.
Lots of mids.
Nothing
too.
we can legally get into.
Right, exactly. That's for the OnlyFans. That's the OnlyFans podcast if you want the real tea.
Yeah, you gotta pay $10. You gotta
It's really what the OnlyFans is, though, me dragging my genitals on Kenya's stomach. So if you want, come get into it.
No, yes, but no, I'm excited to have you on today just because I feel like one thing, the Failure podcast is a lot of things, mostly nonsense, but no, I feel like it's always interesting to get into. Well, one, just I quickly touched on where you're at currently, but just like the lives we've all led that then get us to the point where we are now. And I feel like you in particular, I've just been like, wait, what happened? And so I feel like,
you know, lots of people say that they're like, you're a lot. And I'm like, yeah, I am a lot. That's real as fuck. Yeah.
Well, I feel like you're doing a lot of things right now, but I mean, you also, I don't even know how to try to finesse this. I mean, you were literally in the circus at one point.
Yeah.
Like you literally were a circus performer. As a child?
As a child. So I started doing circus when I was like, oh God, I want to say like 5, almost 5. So very young. I had a lot of, what's it called? You know, undirected energy as a child, and also a deep distalent for any kind of conventional sport, because I mean, people that are listening can hear it and people that are watching can see it, but I'm very gay. So it's, you know, like I'm not great at I'm not like one of those lesbians, not like a soccer player lesbian.
Right.
So I had all this energy and my parents were like, girl, we got to do fucking something with this because you're driving us crazy. And so my mom found this circus program and I started doing it. And I like got so into it because I'd also been doing like a little bit of like competitive figure skating, a little bit of competitive gymnastics.
What?
Just like super like as a small child.
Wait, you just said you were not athletic and you were doing figure skating and what else?
And I guess I mean to say I wasn't athletic in like I play baseball, I play softball. I don't like not in
You were playing basketball.
I wasn't
playing hooping.
I wasn't hooping, especially because I didn't hit.
The other part too is you're tall.
Yeah, okay, this is the funny
tall,
thing.
What?
I did not hit 5 feet until I was a sophomore in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was short. I was a pocket puppy.
So then you just shot up?
I just shot up. It fucked my body up for sure.
I can imagine. No, yeah, that shit hurts.
It hurt.
It hurts really bad.
I like grew like 8 inches in like 3 years. Like it was like I grew a lot randomly.
Yeah.
And like my mom is 5'5", my dad is 5'8". Like
so
I
where
come from
it came from, no one knows.
God, I don't know. Like I don't know. God said, throw that girl a bow. Make her tall, please.
God was like, give her legs.
Yeah, legs. Yes, bitch. God's up there sitting on the like throne or whatever with the clouds. He's like, yeah, work, bitch. Get with the long legs.
but in time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let her feel the pain of being tiny.
Right. Like humble her first.
Right, yeah,
make sure she fucking knows what's up, and then you can give her a little bit.
But she's not going to appreciate them. She needs to be, what's the word? I can't think of it.
It's like a gradual build or like a...
hold it back. Yeah, you need to be disrespected.
And you just,
before you can feel the glory of like fucking like being, stems.
Which is like, we're getting so off topic, but I mean, whatever.
That's what it is.
It's about failure. So I'm like, anything is kind of on topic in regard to my life. But I've been all summer, I went through like a couple of big breakups back in April. And then all summer, and my exes were kind of tall. And all summer, I just been really macking on shorties. Short king summer. Yeah. Oh my God. I've been having this weird short trans mask moment. Not trying to say that trans masks are weird. We love them. We love.
No, but like that's what you've been
I've just been focusing on trans mask short people. And I recently went on a date with this girl who is like my height. And I like completely forgot about how amazing it is to hit a sexy little dance with someone where I'm like, I don't have to be hitting this Pilates squat in order to grind my ass into your coochie.
Actually being able to look the person in the eye. Like that's truly all I want is just like, I want a woman who's like 6'2".
Boom.
Any very tall ladies out there,
any tall ladies trying to drag their genitals
you know what I mean?
on Kenya. I'm not letting it go. Please, just let one of us know.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm just like I'm running on green tea and fucking nothing else, and just
me too.
Pent up fucking sexual energy. But no, I mean. No, but I feel okay. I will say this about the whole short king vibe. Short kings love just the admiration, just the intense, just the way they want to just loop their arm around your waist. You know what I mean? And just then rest their head on your hip. Like they just it's just so funny seeing like how Napoleon complexes like come out in different kinds of people, because you would think it's very much like this sort of like cis het, like just like you know, like short, I'm a short guy, you know, but no, it comes out in all. I mean, hell, look at Lori Lightfoot. I mean, hell, we dealt with 4 years of that. We dealt with 4 years of bad suits, and you know what I mean. She's like, it's just constantly her trying to hit big and tall, and it was just like, stop,
like, girl, stop,
right?
Take the 5 foot ass to the big.
But you know, her giant wife, who, and I mean that in like her wife was very tall. I don't mean it in any other sort of like she's very tall. She's a tall lady.
She's a tall lady,
right? But you know that like Lori's just like fucking like
you could.
That's my bitch.
That's
you know
my bitch. Yeah, and then she hits the big spoon. You know,
exactly.
And she's like this big. It's like big spooning a stuffed animal.
Yeah, she refuses to be Little Spoon.
Yeah,
she refuses.
Absolutely. And that's reflected in her policy.
No, right. Exactly.
I think we could do with a lot more mayors that want to be like little spoons.
Spoon.
Yeah. You feel like Brandon Johnson is a little spoon or a big spoon?
He won't tell you that he's a Little Spoon, but he likes it.
Yeah, I feel like he does. I feel like he likes it. He likes just like a little like palm on the ass.
Especially with all the shit that's going on right now. You know, he's going home and it's just like his wife's just like, you know, I got you, babe. I got you.
Okay, it was a really hard day.
But no, I feel like I feel like I struggle with the height thing. It's hard, and I make jokes about it all the time that I'm like fucking short people, and I'm really. In all actuality, well, no, I am, but I'm just like not as like proud of it as I pretend to be. But no, that sounds bad. That sounds bad. Hey, if you're under 5'6", I love you.
Okay, so I got into trouble about this recently. I was talking about someone that I'm seeing, and I was talking about, or someone that I was seeing and talking about how tall they were, and they were like, how tall are they? And I was like, they're like short, they're like 5'6". And someone got one of my tattoo clients got really upset, was like, I mean, not really, they were just like, 5'6" is not short. And I was like, okay, shorties, I'm just gonna say it out here. When we're talking relatively. I am 6 feet tall,
right?
So it's like that's 6 inches shorter than me.
Exactly.
That means that when we're dancing together, I'm rubbing my pussy on your tits. So it's like, that's not sexy. It's just weird at this point, you know?
No, yeah, it's giving like middle school dance.
Right,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like it's giving you haven't hit the growth spurt yet.
Right,
like that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
But there's something about getting fucked by a short king that I'm like, whoa, you are very down to earth, and I mean that both in the
center
way
of gravity is there.
Yeah, it's low.
The gravity is there.
It's low, and I'm like, I think maybe you're better at eating pussy because you're looking at mine pretty much all the fucking time.
You've been
that's your eye level.
taking notes.
You know?
Yeah,
right.
Time.
It's just you're like talking to me, and you're like, like just staring at my clit, you know? So it's like maybe that's why y'all fuck so good. I don't know. Not to say that tall girls can't fuck, because you know,
you're like, look at me,
right?
Right. No, yes. I
was just gonna tell a little. I said this crazy thing to this girl that I was sleeping with for a minute, and for reference, I had bottom surgery in Thailand in November. Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful. I love my pussy. Blah 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 blah. It's amazing. And to confirm for anyone out there with a vagina, vaginal orgasms are superior. Just as a girl that actually can tell you, that's how it is. But this girl was eating me out, and I like came, and the first thing that came out of my mouth right after I came was, I bet that's the most expensive meal you've ever eaten, which is an insane thing to say to a person on a first night, so like the first night that you've been together.
That's insane.
And they didn't know that I was trans, so then they got real, like, it was not funny or cute or sly. It was just like, what are you talking about? And then I had to run.
Now we got a whole 30-minute conversation.
now we have to fucking talk about it. Fuck. This was just supposed to be a funny joke, and now I fucked it up. Oh well.
No.
But I mean we fucked again, so it's like clearly
this was all good.
It all worked out.
Everything's good.
Everything's fine.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, I know. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know. I've only ever had
it's kind of, honestly, having sex with a vagina when you haven't had one for like most of your life, it's very surprising how quickly you forget what it's like to have sex without a vagina. But every once in a while I remember, and I'm like, oh, winner. Winner. Too bad it costs you literally an arm and a leg.
Right. Experience. The ultimate experience.
Yeah. Somebody told me recently, they were like, you're so trans that you're cis. And I was like, that's both accurate and insane.
That is the most like of this times thing. You like, that's like, it's a full circle. It's like it's fully canceled. Everything's just fully canceled itself out.
Everything's a spectrum these days. 2020. You know, we were in that randomness culture for a moment, early 2000s, mid 2000s. I feel like now we're in spectrum culture. You know, everything's a spectrum. And as someone who's lived in a lot of different spectrums, I gotta say, it's getting old. Yeah,
okay?
Let's just be where we're at.
Right. Just be whoever you be, whatever you want to be whoever you are. I truly do not care. Like just do it.
It's
just
not
do
my
it.
business.
But yeah, I know. But it's like, this like gradient thing. I'm like, it's cool. We love it. We love to see it. And I was like, cancel me, please. No. But no, okay, we did fully get off topic, and I feel like this is gonna be the raunchiest episode yet.
Awesome.
Awesome. Right.
Well, I mean, you know me, so I'm like,
right.
I'm talking about my pussy or something every like 4 seconds,
and I'm literally gonna be googling like, how can you say pussy on Instagram?
I mean, I do.
Right.
So.
But no, going back to circus.
Going back to being a circus performer.
Going back to, somewhat competitive figure skater, but then that leading into circus performance. What were you do? Okay, so what got your attention?
So I was into figure skating because truly, I had, which I couldn't tell at the time because I was 3, but I had this like massive crush on Christy Yamaguchi.
Oh, really?
Like massive. I thought I was just really into it. I thought I was like really into figure skating. I thought I was really into her career. And then as soon as I stepped away from figure skating, I was like, oh no, I think 6-year-old me was just trying to fuck, you know,
right, just really
or whatever.
was down.
Just really was super down.
Yeah.
So that's why I started figure skating because I don't know. I really fuck with Christy Yamaguchi. And then I got for a brief moment, like my mom told me about Tanya Harding. This was like post actually me being a figure skater, but then I got super into Tanya Harding and like was like, so I was like, that she's iconic, honestly. That's real as fuck.
Tanya.
Miss Margot Robbie shows range.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But anyways, I was a figure skater. I really liked figure skating because I was really into these, I think, athletic kind of things that depended a lot on grace and finesse and like kind of a beautiful performance, which I didn't really see in like basketball or football.
No,
or, like,
yeah. I played tennis. I played tennis my whole life. And so I feel like, the whole like sort of contact sport thing wasn't really my vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Tennis is like graceful as fuck.
Graceful, and the outfits are, I mean,
top tier.
Yes, exactly. It's actually kind of annoying me how much tennis attire has like worked its way into fashion as of late.
Yeah.
It's like Princess Diana meets just like tennis girly. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, totally, but like, can you pick up a racket? You know what I mean? Like, can you serve? Like, can you actually serve? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about it that way. Can you serve though?
I was wearing I'm a big proponent of the tennis skirt. I think like the tennis skirt is everything, especially with the little built-in shorts, because as a girl that's kind of always having to cross my legs because my shorts really skirt, and my like little cheetah print thong from H&M is not necessarily everybody's business. I'm always sitting cross legs, so the little skirt moment is life-changing until you are a girl that only really wears skirts without fucking shorts underneath them, and so you're used to being drunk at the function, pulling down your panties, keeping the skirt up, and just peeing. But you mean
the convenience.
The convenience.
You're used to the convenience.
I'm used to the convenience.
No, well, right. That's the other part. Well, it's like the any sort of like dress situation that's got the built-in. It's like 1 minute it seems nice.
Yeah.
But then like you got a bout of diarrhea. You're fucked.
You're fucked. You're fucked. And it ends up culminating is like you pee yourself a little bit at the hideout because you accidentally like forgot to fully take off the whole thing.
Right. Or you're like trying to finagle some sort of situation. Yeah. No.
Right. Yeah.
But okay. So, I'm trying to get into the circus stuff.
Let's get into the circus stuff.
Because what were you doing?
So I had all this energy, to get back to the point. I had all this energy not knowing really what to do with it. And so my parents put me in this program, and I immediately kind of found this like perfect, and this is like a trend in my life of finding the perfect combination between two things, of being like, I wasn't necessarily invested in dance. I didn't necessarily want to be a dancer.
Yeah. I
loved watching ballet. My cousin was a ballerina, and so I was going to see her shows all of the time. And I was like really into it, but I wasn't really trying to do it. And I was also like really into like gymnastics and like seeing the intensity of gymnastics, but I was like, there felt like this weird disconnect. And then I found circus, which is like this kind of culmination between like inaudible or nonverbal storytelling with both dance aspects and gymnastic aspects and kind of like community aspects. It was just kind of this like perfect culmination of everything. And obviously I was like 5, so I wasn't really thinking about it like that. I was like, this is fucking fun as fuck. I love walking on the tight wire, you know? But I think over time it just kind of became this thing that I was like, oh, this is a really beautiful form of physical expression that allows me to get out this like physical energy that I have within myself, but also allows me to like create this kind of storytelling, you know, or like emotional communication.
There's more theater. There's more theater to it.
Exactly. And on top of that, I think the biggest thing with sports growing up as a trans person is like, there's not room for, I mean, it's with time, you know, like we're making strides in creating more room for genderqueer people and for trans people. But like gymnastics is so gendered and figure skating less so, but it's also very gendered. Basketball is gendered, you know, football, baseball, all these like major sports are gendered. Circus is this kind of one place where it's like, that doesn't exist. Like there's just this freedom to just not feel like your gender is in any way or has to in any way be a part of your practice. Like you can choose to exercise that if that's your beat, but like if you're not really invested in a gender dynamic in that way, it's a great outlet for kind of like physical expression. And I think that just felt stronger and stronger and stronger as I got older and felt like more into my, you know, gender identity or whatever. My spectrum. I don't know. But then it like kind of quickly, like it started off as just this thing that I was doing, and then it quickly became like the thing that I did. Like I used to train in high school. I would like sometimes go to training before school, but every day, like 6 days a week, I would go to training after school. So I didn't ever do anything in like I wasn't part of any clubs or anything in high school, because I was like going directly from school to training and then home to do homework, and then, you know, like a line of blow and then going out, you know. But anywho, it just became this really big thing in my life, and kind of just like fully up until I went to college, and honestly a little bit after I went to college. Like I think by the time I was like 20 was when I like retired, I guess, for a lot of reasons. But I think it was like the biggest thing in my life for a really, really, really long time. And it's kind of crazy to think about it now, because it's not the biggest part of my life. I teach here and there, and I'm still like very present, or not very present, but like, you know, semi-present within the community of people. And I have a lot of friends that I've made through circus, but it's not something that I'm like actively doing anymore.
For sure. Were there specific focuses that you had?
So I was a aerial acrobat, mostly doing fabric. So the like silk that hangs down from the ceiling. I was doing that. That primarily with I was also doing contortion. I was like doing a lot of contortion and like little hand balancing things. Yeah, when I was like I was putting my ass on my head.
Oh my god!
Like a long time ago.
Oh my god!
Like I'm like thinking about it, and I was like, well, literally feels like a billion years ago. And then the biggest thing that I was doing was this big white wheel. I don't know if people have seen it before, but it's this big hollow white wheel. It has two rims, and there are bars and handles connecting the two rims together and boards. And you can rotate around in it. So there's the mono wheel that everyone is like very popular right now. Someone I know actually was like last year, maybe like 2 years ago, in a Chase Bank commercial it's called sear wheel or mono wheel. And they were just like spinning around. I was like, that's fucking crazy. I didn't realize that was like part of the zeitgeist, you know?
Right, yeah.
I thought this was
something they would request.
Yeah, I was like,
also, see you doing
what's the like crossover there? Like, you saw this person doing circus, and you're like, hey, have you thought about the Sapphire Preferred card?
Right, exactly.
It's like, bitch, what? Like that I'm not.
I know. What was the rate? Well, also, what'd you get paid?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. What did you get paid?
Right.
What did you get paid?
Maybe I will get back into it.
Yeah, anything for the dollar, you know. Like bag is number one. Bag eats first.
Yeah.
But it's this big wheel, this big white wheel. It's like maybe like 150 pounds or whatever. It's like metal, stainless steel, and you roll around inside of it. You can roll around in it on both rims. You can also rotate it so it's kind of operating in like a coin-like fashion. And then there's like another facet of it where you like push it, you run after it, and you jump on top and then flip off of it.
Yeah.
So those are kind of like the three. They're called straight line is when the wheel is rolling on both rims. Spiral is when it's rolling on like doing the coin thing, and then vault is like when you're pushing it and running after it and
flipping yourself.
So I started doing it as just a practice, not as a sport, but it is also a sport. It is a competitive sport, which I got into maybe when I was like 10. I'd been doing it for maybe like 4 or 5 years, maybe even less than that. I don't know, maybe like 8 or something. I like got into doing it competitively, which felt really good. I think, you know, bringing the competition back into it did reintroduce like the gendered aspect to it, because you compete boys and girls, men and women, senior men, senior women, junior boys, junior girls. But with gymnastics, you are learning very different things when you are being trained in a specific gender, whereas like this sport, it's like everybody does the exact same thing. So like the community of training around it was not gendered. So that felt really like freeing and beautiful. And so I started competing. And this is where I'll plug my shit because this is my flex that I'm always pulling on people. But I am like 6 year in a row like national champion in the wheel thing.
And the wheel
in the wheel thing. In the wheel thing. We're just gonna call it the wheel thing because I'm like,
that's the epitome of the so I have one. I was the best 6 years in a row. The wheel. You know, have you seen that Sapphire commercial?
Period.
Have you seen that little thing that's me.
That's me. Number one.
Right.
Number one.
They didn't see me. That's why they didn't see me. So they didn't. I don't know how I missed the ad. The ad for it. But that could have been me.
But it could have been me if they wanted to
they
go.
would have had to pay me double.
If they wanted to go with a winner, they would have gone with me. But not talking shit on my friend.
No,
but
sure.
And then I am third as of 2016. I am third in the world. Which is super random, and people see me and know me now in Chicago as like a model, as a tattoo artist, as a person who works at nightlife, and I'm like this little secret that I have in the background that like
other little
very few people know about. I'm like it feels kind of funny to bring it up when because I'm like, people are like, what do you you meet people out and they're like, what do you do? And for me, that's like a 8-10 minute conversation monologue.
For sure.
Where I have to run through all the fucking shit that I'm doing all the time, me and my billion fucking jobs. And then it's always like tattoo artist, model, nightlife, blah, 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 blah. And I run through that. And then at the very end, I'm like, oh yeah, I used to be a circus performer for like 15 years. And then people are like, who are you?
Right,
like what is going on? And I'm like, I'm drunk right now.
For sure. Can we talk about this
that's
later?
who I am.
No, were you performing with anyone
I didn't perform with any bigger troops per se. I was a part of this organization called honestly, I'm not even gonna plug it because I got beef with them. And
Oh, that's fair. No worries. But
You
were part of another.
I was part of this organization that I was in from like I don't know, 5 until 18. It was a youth circus. So I performed with them. I also, when I started doing competition stuff, my coach, he runs his own separate circus practice outside of the circus practice that we both met in, that I was doing until I was 18. And so he was doing his own circus thing. And so I started performing with that group as well. And then I've also done, I've worked at a lot of the circuses in Chicago. There's, MSA Circus Arts, which I have performed at before. They used to have this I don't know, not cabaret, but I don't even know what to call it, like a compilation show, a bunch of different performers doing a bunch of different apparatuses, called Fly By Night, that I used to perform at frequently in I want to say 2018, 19, something like that. And then when I moved to New York in 2016, I was working for a circus out there called The Muse, which is a really amazing space. And they had these burlesque shows that I would perform in sometimes. Then I started doing some more nightlife performing in New York, doing lots of burlesque aerial kind of stuff. So there's this club in New York, they had a aerial hoop over the bar, and really it was I got paid $500 a night to sit there and just kind of
loop and just spin around
and spin around, and sometimes do a little thing, grab somebody's drink, hit the spin, give it to them. That was super fly. And then men started to be like, hey, can I see your toes? And I'm like, oh god, damn. I gotta go.
I mean, considering the whole setup, it was bound to go this way, right?
But it was I did do a bit of that in New York. I did retire, officially retire from performing at 20 because due to I did get really injured for many, many, many years. And I was super dedicated to being a circus performer, so I just kind of always was pushing through and not really letting things heal properly. And I also grew up with a lot of dietary restrictions that didn't allow my bones to grow healthfully and properly. And so when I was 20, I got diagnosed with osteopenia, which is a very, very mild form of osteoporosis, which is so embarrassing to be 20, 21 years old and be yeah,
my bones.
I got fucking osteoporosis.
Right.
Or grandma,
Right.
But I had to stop doing that. I still will teach from time to time. It hasn't really happened since for a while, pre-pandemic, I was teaching from time to time. It hasn't really happened since then, especially because I'm way too busy now to do literally anything. But it was really one of the most beautiful, amazing experiences of my life. I loved being in the circus. It was just, I don't know. It's cool as a person that is super body centric, and my body is really important to me. The way I present my body, the way that I depict my body is really important to me. It was just this really beautiful expression of what I was feeling that I wasn't able to vocalize, it just, and I didn't really realize this until years and years later, but I was I was releasing shit when I performed.
Yeah.
And so it was just, I don't know, I look back on that time and I'm that was really amazing. And I'm that's a really crazy way to grow up.
No, I mean,
like a circus performer.
No, yeah, that's like, no, yeah, no, totally. No, right, but yeah, I mean, yeah, intrinsically, you ended up finding some sort of like finding what you sort of needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
In your formative years.
Yeah, like definitely. It like very much in a lot of ways shaped me. It definitely like I still see and feel and hear the ways in which I interact with other people being inspired or influenced by that, you know, of like circus is like this very physicalized version of community, you know. It's like it teaches you lots of lessons about learning how to rely on other people, because it's like if you're in a pyramid, for example, you're standing like on 3 people as a base and then 2 people in the middle and then you're on top, like you need to learn. It teaches you at a young age how to like articulate what you need and trust those around you, and communicate with others until you can trust them around you, and really develop this sense of like community that does very much rely on one another. Because I'm like, if you guys like don't do what you're supposed to do, this whole thing is gonna fucking crumble, and I'm gonna get fucking hurt.
Right, I'm the one at the top.
I'm at the top. That's where I like to stay, you know, at the top.
Oh my god.
I was always at the top because, like I said earlier, I was
You were tiny.
I was fucking tiny. I was like 85 pounds of like you know, like
just flinging yourself around,
throwing myself around.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was great and wonderful. I met some of like my closest friends through that, and I got to travel. I used to go to like Germany during my spring break to go to this like, when you are competing in the wheel thing and you get into the finals, you get invited to this like
in the wheel thing. The fact that you keep calling it that is just so
like,
funny.
We're just gonna call it the wheel thing because I'm like, I
thing.
could call it like wheel gymnastics or like acro wheel or like German
but
wheel.
The wheel thing.
But the wheel thing feels kind of cute.
No, yeah.
When you're competing on an international level and you get into the finals, they invite you to this camp. So I used to go to this camp with one of my best friends in Taunusstein, which is about like an hour or so outside of Frankfurt. And it was just be all people doing this, and it would be like the best coaches from the like all of the countries that were competing, and it was like I got to build like international community with like lots of people at a very young age. I met my like my chosen family big sister Nozomi through that. She was my coach for a while. There's this like super cute, if you look it up on the internet, if you Google Jaxx Masada, the only videos really that will come up it'll be my tattoo page, and then it will be videos of me doing circus. And there's this really cute video from the World Championships in 2013, which was actually held in Chicago, of me doing my little routine. And I was like, this is my first international competition. I was like 14, almost 15, which I'm like, if y'all need proof that I was short, there it is. Also proof, maybe you all should watch it, because I'm built like one of those now, like one of those car dealership inflatable people, you know. That's also what I look like at the club. But when I was 13, girl was packing ass. It was little bubble butt, and I like look back and then I'm like, fuck, God damn it.
It's like, why couldn't that just
why
continue on forever?
The legs grew, but why couldn't have that grown?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, that was all legs. All legs. It was growing.
It was all legs. But you know what? Maybe God is sitting up there being like, this is the point where we need to disrespect her a little bit, and maybe one of these days he's gonna give me an ass.
The booty back?
Yeah, maybe. Fingers crossed.
Hey God, give Jaxx the booty back.
Please. Hey God, if you're there, I would like my ass back, please.
Hey, if you're listening, God.
God's the only one listening.
No, yeah, exactly. Hey, you're telling me. But it's just interesting because I feel like you going from that to like, well, now tattooing, and like, how long have you been tattooing now?
So I mean, professionally, like almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years next month.
So did you start during pandemic?
I started professionally during the pandemic, during 2020. But I started tattooing myself when I was like 13 or 14. Like that was when I gave myself my first tattoo, because it was super like hand poke tattoos were all the rage.
Believe me,
like,
I know.
Everybody who is in their 20s to 30s knows about fucking hand poke.
I feel like I feel like the second you got to like junior year of high school, everyone was just like, let's all stick each other.
Let's like poke India ink into each other's skin,
exactly,
you know?
Yeah. Like, I found this. You guys want to try it?
Yeah. Right. I just read this WikiHow article.
Yeah.
You guys interested?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I did. But I started tattooing myself when I was young because I was just, honestly, I think it was kind of the beginning of my like transition almost. Like, I think around the time that I started tattooing myself was like around the time that I was being like seen as a girl from a very young age, even though I wasn't necessarily identifying that way. But I think that was, it kind of corresponded with like me understanding my own gender, my own body, and my own, you know, like queerness or whatever the fuck. And so I think I got into this like beat or this vibe of just being like, okay, I think I really want to take control of my body, like feel some autonomy. Also, it's around the age of puberty, which is heavy, intense for trans people, for everybody, but especially for trans people. And so it kind of just started doing that. And I was doing little, you know, hand poke tattoos, and my friends would get them in high school. They'd be like, can you give me a tattoo? I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I would whip out my little like crayon box of like fucking supplies and be like, let me burn this safety pin really quick and drop it in a glass of alcohol, and we're just gonna go crazy.
We're gonna go for it. Yeah.
And
pray to God for no infections.
Honestly, like the fact that I didn't give anyone Hep C or anything,
right, like nothing bad. Yeah,
it's like crazy.
Well, there's also so many. I feel like, I mean, I know a lot of people who just like have just dumb stuff that just fully lucked out.
Right.
I mean, I feel like you have to be working under really terrible conditions.
Really.
It's like,
okay, we just finished. Let's rub it into the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
See what's happening.
Yeah. And then cough on it once.
Yeah. Maybe just like next time you pee, just no toilet paper, just wipe it. With
right.
It,
Yeah.
No, it's definitely very hard to get a tattoo infected. Which I'm like, I did have one tattoo get infected, and I was like, not one that I did, one that I got on myself, and I was like, this is crazy. I didn't really think this. It's just like really hard to make happen, but you know, it's good that everybody thinks that it's really easy to make it happen. So
right, you should, take care of your shit.
So right, if you're a tattoo artist, get that calf aside, spray your shit down.
Yeah.
But I think really like 3 years ago when I really started tattooing, it was in like months and months during the pandemic. I was going through a lot of physical changes. I had like restarted taking hormones properly and like regulated this time, and I was going through a lot of changes. I was feeling very like emotionally all over the place, and so I think my way of grounding myself was just tattooing myself and being like, I'm just gonna like, my body is changing, I'm just going to like really lean into that and like really lean into the autonomy of my own body. And I gave myself basically like half of a sleeve in like 3 months. And then my friend Sky, Dirt Farm on Instagram, book with her because she's amazing. She was like, have you thought about maybe doing this like full time? I was working a really shitty job at the time that I was really trying to leave. And she was like, have you thought about like maybe doing this as a job? And I was like, no, I don't really think I'm good enough. Like, I don't know. I kind of just like, I'm doing this for me. And she was like, you might want to think about it because your job sucks. And like, this could be a thing for you. And I was like, okay. So I made a tattoo Instagram and I posted it, and I immediately, very luckily, just got very booked up because I think I know so many people here, and everyone was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want a tattoo for $35.
Right.
You know? And like,
the price was right.
The price was right. And honestly, I look back and I was like, I think back on that time and I was like, oh, I was so bad. And I was like, I really wasn't. I'm a lot better now, but like, those aren't terrible tattoos. I don't feel like people are walking. If you got tattooed by me in high school, I'm super sorry. But like, after I'm like, they're decent. And so I kind of just like,
well, yeah, just that whole practice though too of like even getting started. I mean, one, it's like, yeah, they're definitely like, I'm seeing these like themes of connection of just like a lot of the things that you've been drawn to have been like body focused and like focused. Just like also sort of breaking the rules of like what bodies should feel like, and you know what I mean, you very much try like to find real, other need, you know what I mean, it's like, no, this doesn't have to be this, it's gonna be this, you know what I mean, and I'm gonna draw it on me and make sure that looking at it forever,
and it's gonna be this forever.
Right, exactly. But I also feel like the just even getting started in it, I mean, I feel like it just comes from just like, okay, we're fucking around, and like, we're drunk and people are letting me do this,
exactly. and now it's my job. And it's also been like, my family is Japanese, and so getting to tattoo, especially hand poke, because I work as a hand poke artist, has been really like really allowed me to connect with like my ancestral lineage in this way that I didn't really see coming at all, because like, you know, all traditional Japanese tattoos, which like everybody knows about, white people love. So funny.
White people love.
I was so tangent, another million tangent. I was at Kazuki Ramen the other day. It like the one like not in Wicker, the one somewhere else.
I was like, the one in Wicker Park?
No, not the one in Wicker Park. There was like, it was like somewhere else. I went to go see Bottoms with my friend. Loved.
Oh my god, I still gotta see.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
I want to talk about fails. I was this close. We were literally 20 minutes about to park, and I was with a friend of mine, and she was like, oh, fuck, I think I left a bunch of shrooms out, because she was cat sitting for another friend of ours. And she was like, oh, I meant to grab them, and I think they're just sitting on the table. And I was like, well, let's go back. It's like,
you came back, and the cat's like, hey.
Cats are fine. Yeah, cats were totally fine. I was like, okay, well, I guess we're going to go see My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Like, that's like... Like, that's all that's playing now. So
imagine if you came home and they had eaten the mushrooms, and you like walk in and they're like in English, they're like, what the fuck,
right? Exactly.
And you're like,
oh wait,
damn,
right? Like, that's not how this is supposed to work, right? You're supposed to be hallucinating, not me. But yeah, no, oh my god. But sorry, continue.
I was on tangent to tangent.
Yeah.
I was at Kazuki Ramen the other day, and I walked in with my friend. It's only white people working in there, and both of them literally like hands together. They're like, "Konnichiwa," and I was like,
"No,
girl, what?
No, I don't care if that's in the employee handbook. I don't care if they said that's how you're supposed to. No, you say hello.
And
you say hello,
or just be normal and ignore me.
Like, right. Just let me sit down.
So funny. And I looked at my friend. I was like, "What is this? Real? This is so funny." But anyways, tattooing has been this like really beautiful process of getting to like deeply connect with my lineage, because I grew up Japanese, but my dad is a Japanese person that grew up in the 50s and 60s, post World War II America, and so his parents whitewashed the fuck out of him. Like, not entirely, but in a lot of ways, like, didn't really give him a lot of...
There was a heavy influence on it, or a push to assimilate.
Exactly. There was a heavy push to assimilate. And then that kind of transformed my dad's kind of mentality of being like, he grew up in this really diverse like friend group where he was like, I'm not assimilating, but I'm not identifying with my particular culture because it doesn't mean that much to me. I'm like developing a person to person kind of thing, which is like cool and I fuck with, but that's just I was always feeling like, kind of like lacking in that department of feeling like I didn't have enough information around that. And so I started like maybe, I don't know, I would say like a year into me tattooing, I started making a habit of going to the Harold Washington Library downtown and just like sitting there and looking at books on traditional Japanese tattooing, traditional Japanese block prints, traditional Japanese art forms, and then it kind of expanded outwards into like looking at manga and realizing, oh, I used to read a lot of manga as a kid, and now this is very much informs the way that I draw and the way that I create. And starting to look at a lot more like avant-garde anime things like Satoshi Kon's work and like other things like, you know, along the lines of like, you know, Paprika or movies like that. And it's allowed me to kind of like both really increase my technical skill in tattooing by doing all this research, and then also connecting with my own
like culturally,
which is just like really nice.
I feel because wait, how old's your dad?
Oh Jesus, like 66.
Oh Jesus,
I'm like, it's his birthday next month. I'm like, oh fuck, sorry Dad if you're listening. 60 something, 66, 67, somewhere around that age
for sure. Because totally. My dad's a little bit older. My dad's 77, but I feel like, I just feel like there was a time though where it was just like, okay, it's easier to sort of like take on the American culture and sort of get on. And so like, especially having somewhat older parents for our age, I think you kind of like see that sort of like skip in like generation, you know what I mean? Like,
totally.
like coming to us where it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of like learning some of this on my own. And it's not like my dad was, and it's not like I didn't grow up in a house that wasn't like pro-black and my dad wasn't like, you know what I mean?
Right, no,
Feeding
exactly.
those things, but it was also at the same time too, I can see like his thinking sometimes is like it's easier to just like get on, even though he's still making a whole ass scene, but like it's easier to get on in some way, right? It's easier to like get on and like fit in whatever way than to like push it too hard,
right. And that's, I think oftentimes, like, I think especially parents of that certain age are like less so invested in like the kind of the social pressure to kind of be deeply aligned with your own like heritage, and more being like, what's gonna make your life easier,
right?
Exactly. It's like, I think that's kind of like of that time,
right?
They're like, we're going to give you advice, we're going to move in this way of being like, we just want your life, we want to remove the shit that doesn't need to fucking be there,
exactly.
And, sometimes you don't necessarily you're not necessarily acting within your own moral center, but it's like you're acting within your own self-prioritization of being like, this is going to make my life fucking easier right now.
Just preservation.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
totally. Preservation culture for sure. But I mean, tattooing is beautiful, and I think, again, like you're saying, like everything that I do is very body centric, and I think like I'm not really at this point in time, I'm not invested, and I think when I first started I was, and now I'm not. The actual tattoo means, I think, the least to me about what I'm doing. I think like I am a person that has like struggled really deeply and like massively and primarily in feeling like I didn't have autonomy over my body. I didn't have control over my body. Part of that is growing up queer, part of that is growing up trans, part of that is just growing the fuck up. But I think my approach to tattooing is, one, this allows me a creative outlet that I get paid for, which is beautiful and amazing, and sometimes stressful, but like holistically awesome, and also allows me to like work within my priorities, which is like to promote body autonomy for everybody. I'm like mostly invested in being like, I want you to come to our session, and I want to make you feel comfortable. I want to make you feel good. I want to make you feel like powerful about yourself and the way in your actual physical form, because anyone coming to get tattoos cares about the way that their body looks, or like cares about their body, Nobody who doesn't give a shit about their body is like paying money to adorn it, So I think I'm not trying to be the best fucking tattoo artist out there. I'm not trying to be the most technically talented. I am always trying to push myself to be better. But like, I'm mostly like, if someone like had a really good time with me during our session, felt connected, felt happy, felt safe, felt comfortable, especially in tattooing when there's so much bullshit, especially there's just like so much bullshit that happens, and I hear so many stories from my clients being like having like really fucked up tattoo experiences, and I'm like, that fucking sucks. This shouldn't, like,
well, it's like, like the bitch that ends up with fucking some shit on her forehead, and it's like, why did you're clearly having some sort of episode. Who signed off on this?
Or like people coming and being like, it was like 2 hours and my tattoo artist wouldn't let me take a break, and I was like, they wouldn't let you take a break? It's your body, babe. You should be doing whatever the fuck you want to do. So I don't know. I think like now I feel very centered in my practice of being like, this is not about tattooing as much as it is about like almost like social work. And I don't mean that in the context of like what's, the job of social work, but like work that is social. But
building community within
exactly.
Standing firm and feeling yourself.
Exactly. And
no, totally.
Bag first. Bag eats first.
As long as the bag eats first, we're doing social work.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as I'm getting paid, it's definitely social work. Said every social worker ever.
Yeah, totally.
Because they're definitely rich.
Yeah, I am my dad was a social worker, actually. That's funny.
We should definitely be paying social workers less, like 100%.
Yeah, it's a really overly valued,
lucrative field. Jesus, like, can you save a little for the rest of us,
right,
please?
Exactly. Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're eating like
80% of the budget's going to social work.
They're eating like one almond for dinner, and they're like, I helped someone today.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, yeah.
But yeah, that's my little tattoo beat. Like, that's I love tattooing. It's really, I literally just came from a tattoo. Came here, record this podcast, about to go back, do another tattoo.
No, yeah. Well, no, yeah. I would say between the cross of like, yes, circus, tattooing, creating like nightlife spaces, dance spaces for people, like all of these sort of things sort of like touch on the same, like they're, like you were saying earlier, how you're able to sort of like combine these sort of like worlds of the things that you're looking for. You've done a very good job of that.
That's exactly like,
wow, we're really fucking up the theme today, guys.
Yeah. So speaking of failure, I have
Right.
none.
Jaxx has none.
I'm actually
Jaxx is perfect, as you can see.
It's giving winning.
Yeah.
It's winning. And by winning, I mean I'm doing what Charlie Sheen was doing. No.
Oh my god.
That was crazy. That was a crazy moment.
Wait, what?
Do you remember when Charlie Sheen was out here being like winning all the time, and he was talking about being on meth?
Well, that was our that was like our entrance. That was just preparing us for Trump, to be honest with you. It's just like one guy just like rattling off sayings, and we're all like, this is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yep. Did you hear that Donald Trump is selling merch now with his mugshot on it?
He's on the internet. He sees us all talking. He knew we were gonna want it. That's why we can't win. That's why we can't win with like you cannot own that man. You cannot make him look bad because he will take, you could say whatever you want and he'll put it on a t-shirt. He'll put on a bumper sticker and he'll pretend like he's in on the joke.
Isn't it crazy the career arc from being like I'm running the world's freakiest weird show. Fucking Celebrity Apprentice was freaky.
Right.
Now I have nuclear codes. Now please buy my merch.
Right.
Like
please buy my fucking mugshot t-shirt.
Mugshot merch.
Which, to be honest with you, and I didn't get it. There were two things I wanted for my birthday this year. Was do you know Jocelyn Hernandez?
No.
From Love and Hip Hop Miami.
Oh yes.
Yes. Well, she's got a mugshot T-shirt right now that's out that she's promoting. I gotta say it's probably not doing as well as his are, but I was like, I kind of want both.
Yeah,
I want both.
I feel like you should.
And I'll secretly wear it. I don't know that I really want his face.
What if you did like a thing where it's like you got both and then you cut like the
Actually, can you tattoo that on me, please?
Yeah, yeah.
I've always wanted a butt tattoo. Can it be Donald Trump's
mugshot on a mug? That's what we're gonna do.
On a mug on my butt.
We love body autonomy.
Yes. I want to feel empowered.
You should wear like the Jocelyn Hernandez shirt and the Donald Trump shirt, but cut the backs off them, keep the collar on so you can have him in the front and her in the back.
Exactly. Just like
speaking
oscillate.
of combining things,
bringing worlds together.
Speaking of bringing worlds
Do
together.
it like it's my B-Day, baby. Do it like it's my B-Day. No, yeah. Oh my God. What a day. This has been great.
What a time.
No, yeah, this has been lovely. I feel like I don't really know what you failed at, but you've done a lot.
Oh, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of failures. Do we want to talk about failures? Do we want to talk about...
Do you have one story you'd like to...
I've got... Yeah, I mean, yes. This is not like the biggest failure, but kind of...
Just so we can show what a normal person.
Yeah, right. This is definitely giving normal person.
Yeah.
So this was a minute ago. A while ago, I got too drunk at this bar, classic. Mm-hmm. And I went home that night at like 4 a.m, and the girl that I was sleeping with at the time.
Okay, it also just sounds like you're bragging, Jax.
No. This
As
is
someone who hasn't had sex all summer.
I'd be fucking. I'd be winning and fucking. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. Yeah,
you
are pulling a full Charlie Sheen.
I am pulling a full Charlie Sheen.
But continue.
For sure.
I'm sorry. I'm interrupting.
I do live. I know.
Your
I live
totally
like,
normal
like a
story.
super sexually active life. Mm-hmm. So hit me up. You know. I'm like, chances are I'm down.
Hey, that's the goal for me on this podcast. I'm trying
to hit me or Kenya up. Hit Kenya
up
first. Hit Kenya up first. If you're trying to again drag the genitals on the stomach, do that.
Exactly.
If you're trying to do this really crazy thing that I'm about to tell you, then hit me up. But anyways, I come home. She's at my house already. And she had just
Did she break in?
No. She had a key. We got windows shattered. Right. Windows shattered. There's a ladder outside my
totally
window.
Normal.
She's laying in my bed
this
naked,
is my fantasy.
Like, hey.
Yeah, this is my fantasy.
But she's at my house, and she was really into shibari, like
being tied up.
Mm-hmm. Or I'm not so into, like, that's not necessarily my beat, but I'm like, I'm down. I'm game for pretty much anything. Mm-hmm. So she was high on mushrooms, and I was drunk as fuck, and she was like, let's fuck. And I was like, okay. And so she tied me up, and I'm trashed. And halfway through us fucking, she's like, the shrooms are hitting.
Oh no.
I don't know where your nipples went. And I was like,
Oh no.
No. And I was
if
like,
you don't know where those went, then you definitely know where the knots are.
Right, exactly. I was like, let's stop. And so we stop, and she's trying to untie me for a second, but she's like really on
Going
mushrooms.
through it, yeah.
And I like was so drunk.
That's wild that you let this person tie you up. I would have been like, why don't we wait
That's
till the
what I'm saying.
morning?
Failure, absolutely failure. It just gets worse. Let's stop because this is you can't see my nipples and I'm like quite literally maybe gonna throw up. So like let's just stop and go to bed. And so she was trying to untie me for a minute and could not figure out how to do it. Like she fucked up and couldn't figure out how to do it. So I was like I gave her 30 minutes and I was like, honestly, babe, fuck this. And I was like, we're just gonna sleep like this. Mind you, I'm tied up, like arms to my side, legs crossed, like foot behind the other foot. So I'm like really tied up. And I was like,
that's just how it's gonna be.
This is just how it's gonna be tonight. And so we go
like
to,
if I lose blood flow,
I was like, my hand is falling asleep, but so am I. So, whatever. So we go to bed. We wake up in the morning, and I've been fucking this girl for like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months at the time. And she's a really cute sleeper, like really, 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 really cute sleeper, which is like my beat. I love fucking cute sleepers. That's my happy thing because I'm over here sleeping like, like it's just giving one long 6-hour sigh. But she's super cute, and I'm like, I don't want to wake her up, so I'm like, I have to pee, but I'm gonna figure this out. I got out of bed, fell over face first, hit my nose on the ground, gave myself 2 black eyes, and then still didn't wake her up, and she didn't wake up through it. And I had to get from my bed to the bathroom, which was like down a hallway. And so I had to like figure out how to like open the door of my bedroom tied up. And then I kind of did like an inchworm kind of motion to the bathroom.
I would have just woken her up.
Honestly, I'm super surprised that my roommate at the
right.
time didn't wake up either.
Right.
And so I get to the bathroom and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to get on the toilet. Like I don't know how to get on the toilet.
How do I get myself up
so
here?
I worm myself into the tub to the
knew
point
that's where
that
your
I'm
head-
laying face down in the tub.
Oh my god,
This is a huge
Jaxx.
failure. Face down in the tub, and I'm like, this
Just
is it.
going.
This is it. I didn't realize that my roommate had taken a bath the night before, so the drain was clogged. So then I peed in the tub and then just laid in my own piss for about an hour until she woke up to come to the bathroom. And then she was like, "What happened to you?" And I was like, it's been a long morning. It's been a really long morning.
Oh my god.
So
okay, well, you know what?
speaking of failure,
Maybe you aren't winning all the time.
I'm not
You know what I
winning
mean?
all the time. I'm not winning all the time. I'm definitely not winning all the time. I'm not.
Oh my
I'm 100% not winning all the time.
Noted.
That one was a big. That was an L for sure.
Yeah, that's a
Took it.
huge
That's
L. It's a huge wet L.
Huge.
On that note, we like to end this podcast on words of affirmation, a quote, a song that you listen to, things that when you're stuck in the tub and no one can get you out. If there's something you tell yourself to just keep going.
That's what I'm gonna start telling people when I'm like struggling. I'm gonna be like, I'm stuck in the tub.
Stuck in the tub.
I'm stuck in the tub in my own piss, in a bath of my own pee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, we like to send the listeners off with just a is there something you tell? Yeah, it's like kind of like the mantra. It's like I know it's like real hard. This is a hard transition for you. But if there's something that you tell yourself or like something you've heard in the past that you're just like that.
This sounds like a joke, but really, it's not. And
Okay.
I mean this truly authentically. I stay telling myself all of the time, being like, that's not my business. That's not my business. That's what I've been saying to myself for like, I think recently. This is like a 6-month development of being like, there's so much shit that I feel like I get caught up in, especially with like other people, of just like, the way that other people are seeing you, the way that other people are behaving, the other way that people are acting towards you, the other shit that people are doing. And it like stresses me out. And so oftentimes I'm just like, when things start to go weird and I start to feel weird about that shit, I'm like, it's not my business. It's not my business. And then sometimes even like with my own shit of being like dealing with, my own personal garbage of just being like, that's not my business right now. Like right now, this is my business. That's not my business.
This is my focus.
Sometimes
right
it gets too far and I'm like, I need to respond to my tattoo emails. And I'm like, that's not my business. And then I'm
Right.
like, no, that actually is 100%.
No, wait, now it's a problem.
That is your
right.
business.
No,
That's exactly what that is.
Hey, we talked about the bag's got to eat.
The
you know what I
bag's
mean?
gotta eat. The bag's gotta eat. Make that your
gotta
business, bitch.
Oh, no, totally. Well,
But I don't know. That's one that I be saying all the time.
No, that's a good one. I feel like I feel like that's been incorporated in my thinking too lately. It's just like this is not the time.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I mean?
not the time.
It's not the time
like
right now.
Just de-escalating the intense thoughts that are like actually not contributing anything to you. Like that's really what it is.
No, totally. No, that's great. Hey, you did it. You transitioned out of pee into something motivational. Look at you. She really can do anything, folks. She really can.
She's a winner. She's a winner. She's absolutely a winner. That's what I said to myself in the tub. I said, "This is not my business."
Right, exactly. Well, on that note, Jaxx, how can we find you? Is there anything you got coming up? Anything you want to let the people know about?
What is going on? My tattoo books are open. I'm moving to New York in January because I got a bunch of modeling opportunities out there. So I'm gonna go do that.
Shut up.
Out there. Which I'm really fucking excited. I'm just gonna keep plugging myself since we're not talking about failure. And this is actually a self-brag podcast.
Right, yeah, it's called bragging.
Also, my vagina is gorgeous. Like I got a lot of things to say. But I am, if you're in New York and you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to be in New York at the end of this month for a brief little tattoo stint. I'm going to be
This is September right now.
This is September.
So
Cool. Totally. When this comes out. Chicago, if you're around and you're listening and this is September and you're listening and it's September, on the 30th this month, I'll be tattooing at this little pop-up DIY backyard party situation. I just posted on my Instagram. My tattoo Instagram is yucky_soba, which is so fucking stupid when people come up to me and be like, "Are you yucky soba?" I'm like, "Girl, who the fuck is that?" Like, what? I'm a person. I'm not an Instagram handle.
No, yeah, I know. I do that all the time. I always confuse people's Instagram handles for their names,
especially tattoo artists.
And then I'm just like, "Oh, blah blah," and they're like, "That who?" And
right.
I'm like, "Oh, wait, sorry."
Right. I'm like, a client yesterday asked me. She was like, "Is that like how people refer to you?" And I was like, "Do you really think people are out here calling me yucky?"
Right. Honestly, honestly, I could see you could fully like take that on.
Yeah,
that could be your model. That's your
I'm yucky.
Yeah,
be like gross.
Right, like what?
Yuck. Get
real yucky.
I'll yuck your yum. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, my tattoo Instagram is yucky_soba. My regular Instagram is nothing. Jaxx. If a 2x, 3x's. I don't know. A bunch of weird dots and dashes in there. You can find me there. I'm around. You can find me in the streets of Chicago. Truly, more than anywhere else, you can really find me in the streets. Just pop out. I'm always out. I'm literally always out. So if people want to find me, I guess come to Smart Bar. I guess I say that with a heavy heart.
No.
Like I'm like, I would love to not be at Smart Bar as much as I am. Love Smart Bar, but I'm like, I would love to not.
We'll cut that. Hey, Smart Bar, if you want to sponsor this episode.
Sponsored by Smart Bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Sponsor me, Kenya, and this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Independently.
Yes, please. But no, this has been a great episode. This has been such time. Once again, another winding road, losers. Once again, we've learned. So I love that. Okay, I was trying to figure out. I was like calling it
the fans. What to call the fans?
Yeah, I like
awesome.
losers. I really like losers. But no, yeah, this has been another really good one. Thanks for sitting down with me. God. Thanks for chatting.
Of course. My first podcast. I've never done this before. It's crazy. Like with the headphones on, I'm listening to a podcast, but
it's you.
It's just me.
I know. And then when the episode comes out, I know it's a whole mind fuck, but it's great.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Thank you. This has been another episode of Failure with me, Kenya Elan. Listen, subscribe, rate, review. We're on all the platforms. We're on all the channels. Like the reels. I don't know. Subscribe, whatever. This, that, wherever you see this, click whatever buttons are around it. Okay. But no, yeah. My name is Kenya Elan. This has been Failure. Thank you so much, Jaxx.
Thanks, Kenya.
Bye, guys.
Bye. It could be worse.